Hi everyone. Finally today I thought I'd give you a little insight into some of the things behind Scribo that gives us extra insight into our students. If we look over here on the left, we've got a dashboard. It's here under Insights. And if you click on that one, then it takes it a few seconds, but once it loads up, we've got lots of information. So one of the things Scribo is doing is all the time that our students are using it, or we're using it for our students, it's collecting all of that information and tracking various aspects of our students' writing. And we can actually dig into that and see how our students are going and see whether there are any trends amongst the whole school, or whether there are trends amongst the year 11s or the year 12s. And so it's actually a really powerful tool. So what we're looking at here is a general overview of the whole school across the whole time that we've actually been using Scribo. So you can see in nearly 2 years, sorry, just over a year in fact, we've had nearly 1 million words written by our students and put through Scribo. Now that's a bit over 9,000 writing checks in that time, a total of 855 assignments done, and you can see that there are things like grammar issues, spelling issues, and passive writing issues. Now, as I've said before, passive writing is not a problem for me in science, but it might be in something like English. If you want to dig a little bit deeper, then you can select the particular class or cohort. So if I click on here, you can see I can choose year 11 or year 12, and it lists the classes that are listed under year 11 or year 12. Similarly, I could go for a specific subject. So I could just go for chemistry. So select all chemistry students, whether they're in year 11 or year 12. Or I can actually select an individual student if I want to see what an individual student's been doing. We also have the option to narrow the time range over which we're analyzing. So you can select by term, so from term 1 week whatever to term 2 week whatever, for instance. Or we can turn this off and select a date range. So then it gives you a calendar to choose from. I'll just leave that where it is for now. So it's actually a really, really powerful way to delve into what our students have been doing. Now over on the left, we've also got all of those characteristics that we've been looking at with our student writing checks. So for instance, spelling. Give it a few seconds. So it's saying that spelling has actually been declining over time. Now there is a bit of a trick to this one, I'm afraid. If we look down here, we can see right through 2021, there was a bit of a glut of spelling problems in term 4. Funnily enough, that's when a lot of students were finishing off things and putting things through Scribo prior to submitting their final pieces of work. But then if we look here in 2022, the numbers have gone up. Now that's purely because we've got more students using Scribo this year. It's probably picking up the same rate of spelling problems as last year, just with greater numbers of students. Similarly, we can look at grammar. And so grammar can be split into a few different types of problems. And we can see that things like fragments are improving over time. Punctuation is declining. That could also be similar to spelling. And our word choice is improving. And if we have a look down here, once again we can see how students have been going over that whole time. And so again, where our students have been using it quite a lot this year, then punctuation's been picked up a lot more. So that at least explains in some part why punctuation's increased perhaps. We can look at cohesives and see what sort of cohesives our students are using in general. So fairly low levels of advanced cohesives, higher levels of simple cohesives. In terms of vocabulary, a large proportion of common words, some intermediate words, a reasonable proportion of those, fairly low proportion of academic or advanced words. And once again, you can see we had that spike. Oh no, sorry, this is term 1 this year. We had a spike in there. So we've had some students using it quite well in term 1 so far, in week 3. We can analyse our sentences. See that there are a range of sentence types. For me, the big one that I look for is sentence fragments. And sure enough, in the last few weeks, we've had a bit of an uptick in sentence fragments as more students have been using it. In terms of readability, so the breakdown here, you can see that term 4 last year again, there was a spike in sentences being too complex. And again, that was those students trying to process their final pieces of work before submitting them and sending them off to SACE. So there's a lot of information here. And really it's up to us as teachers to then dig in and make use of that information to see how our students are going, and we can actually track our students across the year if we start early and use it as we go. So I really do encourage you to jump in here and have a look at your cohorts and see how they're going and get an idea of where we can actually help them. Have fun with it.